व्हाट्सएप दिख रहा है। कर
बंद
दो।
कर दिया।
बंद कर दो।
व्हाट्सएप अभी सिर्फ मैंने ये रखा है, पीपीटी है।
हाँ बस वो लाइव रखना। हाँ लाइव रखना उसको। हाँ ठीक। हम्म। मेरे को तो सर अभी ये दिख रहा है ना, दिख रहा है।
व्हाट डू यू सी
हाँ
एज अ यूजर?
6 बजे तक। 11 वेटिंग है, वेटिंग। ओके 12 वॉचिंग नाउ।
हेलो। 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 We are waiting for a few seconds to start. We're waiting for a few more people to join in so that we can start. Good evening, everyone. We will be starting the session in a few minutes, waiting for a few more people to join. Good evening, everyone. We will be starting the session in a few minutes. Okay, so we are going to start the session now. I hope everyone is able to hear me. Okay. Good evening, everyone. So let's start the session. I will just start with an introduction of the company, what we are, and what we do. And definitely, I'll be talking about, as you can see on the screen, importance of career planning. We'll have a session which spans around 45 minutes, wherein I will be explaining what is career planning, what Vyosa as a company we do, and how it can help the students and the parents who have logged in on this call, on this YouTube live. Okay, so let me give you a bit of a background to start with. Vyosa Learning as a company, we primarily work with students from 8 to 10 standard, that is for schools, 11 12 standard for junior college. We also work with college students like graduation, post graduation, MBA, professional courses like engineering, architecture, law. What we do for students across institutions, and we are operating in multiple cities now. uh, we work with students to help them and make them career ready. When we say career ready, job ready, it is something that is, our focus is completely helping students right at the age where they are in the 8 to 10 standard. So focus on the careers and prepare better. Why? Because it is very important in this age of competition that we are able to guide students who are having so much of exposure today. And for parents who have students in these standards, there's a lot of confusion than clarity. When I say confusion, it means a lot of exposure to new careers, or the careers that were old or earlier that we studied. So I also have spent more than 22 years in the corporate. So I go back to my time where we when I studied, it was pretty simple. I come from an engineering and the postgrad background. I did my engineering in computers because everyone said it is a good thing to do, and then I was good at computers, so, and I was good at mathematics. So, but now the scenario is completely changed. You need to be much more aware of the careers and much more clear with the options that you want to choose. So to enable that, career planning becomes a very, very important aspect. And schools across are helping uh, students to prepare in their own way, but still the parents and students still have a lot of understanding to do, a lot of exploration to do. And the most important thing here is about knowing about the new age careers that we talk about, the careers that have come up in the recent few years, which have grown, which are growing, which were not available or not did not exist in the earlier times, in the last 5 to 10 years back also. So what is that Vyosa Learning as a company we are doing? So what we do is the most three important questions for a career planning for a student and for parents. What are these questions? I'll just take you through that. Which subjects to select, streams to progress in. That means the biggest question here is, should the student take science, commerce, or arts? When you're talking about streams, it is purely based right now. The planning that we do is purely based on the score or the marks that the student gets. And if you think that mathematics and science or biology subjects, those subjects are good, then we ask these students to take science. And if not that, then we talk about commerce, and then we look at arts as the third option. But that really isn't the case when you look at colleges, because for the simple reason, if you see, there is a college in Mumbai, Xavier's, which is for arts. They have a closing which goes to 97 98% for art students. That means it does not mean that less intelligence is required for art students and more intelligence is required for science. But that is sadly, that is how it is being looked at. And if you are aware, there is a new education policy that is called as NEP, which has come out in 2020. So NEP 2020 is a complete change in the way all this selection of streams, subjects, specializations, everything is changed. And colleges today, postgrad colleges have started implementing it. And it is also starting to get implemented in schools across. So it is a mandate where everyone has to change the structure of selection. So what is NEP 2020? I'll just give you a very small brief about it. You can go ahead and read about it. It's there available online. So basically NEP helps a student to start from one specialization and shift or move into multiple area of specializations and still complete their graduation. In earlier times, if you choose a stream, you have to complete, say, post 12 standard, you have to complete 4 years of education, 3 years of education to complete that stream. And a lot of students used to get stuck because they could not do well just because they had chosen the wrong stream, or they realized after choosing the stream that it was not the most suitable stream for them. So to cater to this challenge, the NEP 2020 really helps where students can move from a science subject to a completely art subject, come back to commerce subject and still complete your graduation. So you can read about this more. It really is something that is changing the landscape of career growth in India. So in alignment with that, in alignment of NEP 2020, we also learning has come up and we are already working with multiple schools across where we are using our technology. So we have a artificial intelligence based technology, which I'll be talking a bit more about it. But then what are we doing? We're helping with this question that is there on the screen about selecting the right streams with informed information. Selection we you must have been already doing, but then you need right data to back you to help you understand better. So what is that we're doing? I'll be discussing that. Then definitely it is not just about the stream or graduation, it is about the what professions have to be taken up when the students complete their education. Most of the students complete education, and this is a reality where I have been into hirings into multiple organizations where I've worked with MNCs, where we have realized that the graduate students, postgraduate students, when they come out of college today, they do not have the clarity of the kind of profession that they want to get into. Say only very selected few individuals from the colleges or universities have clarity about, and it is not more than 10%. This is data that I'm not, which is data which is available that you can check. That means the professional career, what should be pursued. As parents, if you see, I'm sure you also have had your own experience of understanding that when you started your own jobs, it takes a lot of time for it took a lot of time for us to understand what is our passion or what are we good at. And that time can vary from 1 year, 2 years to 5 years and more than that. I've seen people in middle management like completing 10 years plus work or 15 plus years of experience trying to change careers because they could not find what they are good at, and they stuck to jobs because they had no other choice or they did not know about themselves what are they really good at, and that takes a lot of time for a lot of people. So so how will you come to know? So what how do you come to know what is your graduation, what's so I go back to the point where we are talking about 8 to 10 standard students, your 11 12 say 8 to 10 standard, where subject selections is the first decision that you have to make before you even choose science, commerce, arts, because eventually that is what guide directs your career or student's career in that uh, direction. So and there are globalizations and new age careers which are available today, which a lot of careers that you hear nowadays we were not even aware when we were studying. So I'm talking from the parents perspective. A lot of names of careers are new, we don't even know what careers, as parents don't even know what careers are there, what is, and the most important things, which are the careers which will give a promising profession. That is more important. So new age careers are definitely there. You get to hear so many things today. And at the same time, what is the student or your child good at? Definitely, technology is playing a very, very important role today. And because of technology, so many new careers have come up, which have actually bridged a lot of gap. It has given so many new options to work with. So, what are those? We'll talk. So, if you see in today's times, there are 600 plus career options, 1400 plus career paths. So, some I keep talking to parents on a daily basis. Some parents say we have already decided what we want our child to do. Some students say we have already decided what they want to do. But when I've asked them, when I've checked with them, we realized that most of this decision making is either their own experience. Say a parent is an engineer or a doctor, you will definitely want, or a CA, you would definitely want your child to become or pick up the same profession. Why? Because you know, you have studied, you have experience, you know that it is a good career, it can give your child a good profession or a stable career because you have the experience. Yes, I'm not denying that it is not. It is definitely would be you. I'm sure you are a successful professional, but the qualities or what suited you as a profession may not be most suitable to your child. Why? Because every personality, every person is different. Every person has a different intelligence, EQ, IQ. So everything is different for a new person. So we usually take decisions based on our own experience, or we take advice from people around us. Where there are successful people in the family, so people in the family are engineers. You say become an engineer because see, this person or this cousin or this one is successful in their career. We ask people to go abroad because someone in the family is abroad, so he's successful, he or she's successful. You want your child to follow that path, and at times students also get inspired by seeing successful people around us, that I want to become that. But that person may have done well in that career for the simple reason that the person is suitable for it. So there are so many, and how many careers do you want to explore? The more important question here is how many careers can you keep exploring, and how many careers can you really find out? I'm just giving you a small snapshot, very, very small snapshot shot of what the new age careers are there available today. You can definitely research a lot more. It's there available on Google. But then definitely when you Google something, please ensure that you are checking from the right sources, because Google, everything on Google is not authentic. Okay. So if you see the snapshot that you can see on the screen, math science students, a lot of students have heard these names. Like if you see data science is one of the upcoming careers which has a promising profession today. It pays you well. All these careers that I'm talking about, the new age careers that you will see on the screen, we have picked up the top ones which have promising careers which are there to stay. Because one of the seminars I was taking, the parents said, yeah, this career may be new, but then what is the guarantee it will be there in the next 5-10 years? I said perfect, because we don't want to even tell you something which is not going to last. And how do we ensure it will last or no? Because today when I talk about computers or anything which is technology, can someone tell me if the technology will be there or will not be there in the next few years? No one can deny that technology will remain. The variations in the work and the profiles may change, but technology as a core function will always remain a part of work today. We will never go back from technology to paperwork. That means there are certain streams, there are certain careers which are there to stay. So if you see a snapshot of what you can see on the screen, artificial intelligence is pretty known today. Machine learning, data analytics, and this is not the elaborately, it's a very, very small number. I think I would say it's just a percentage of what are available. Biology students, the options earlier were so limited. If you see the options today, there are so many of them. One of the most promising careers that you students who are good at biology are is bioinformatics. If you see the second last option on the left hand side, This actually is a very biotechnologies, bioinformatics, all these are promising careers, and these have come out in the last few years. So parents, you can actually explore and understand what these careers are all about. Going ahead, commerce students who are in commerce, look at the options that are available today. And this is a very very small snapshot, very small snapshot of what is there. Wealth management has been there, but now it is expanded. Financial analyst was there, but now there are so many more things: cost auditing, actuarial science, budget analysis, and there are so many more. Because earlier it was CA, otherwise get into accounts, or then graduation was open for any kind of jobs. But now there are specializations where commerce students can really study specialized streams and become professionals. And the third here is the most neglected one, is when we call it arts and humanities. Arts and humanities is, we usually look at it from a very, from a perspective of, okay, if you don't get anything else, you get into arts. But that is not the truth. If you have people around who have studied arts, and if you have done it yourself, you will know the kind of efforts it requires. It takes a lot of efforts to actually for them to complete their assignments. I've seen people doing it. It takes a lot of intelligence and hard work to complete arts. And look at the new age careers that we have today. There are so many. Designing, so earlier if you see graphic design, earlier designing used to be always only from the science side of it. Now designing can also be pursued from arts, and you can move to science subject, as I told you about NEP 2020. Again, these are very small, this is a very small snapshot of what is actually available outside, what kind of careers are there. Okay, okay. Due to the vast choices that we have, the decision of, for a school student who is an 8 to 10 standard, is about higher education, post 10 standard, then post 12 standard, graduation if you are pursuing post graduation, and then going to professional careers. So yes, there is a lot of confusion around this. There is a lot of data available. Everyone has opinions, everyone has experiences, and it may vary from one person to another, and it keeps varying. Okay, so how do we simplify this? So we do not want you or people around you to be biased while taking career decisions, because we know it is so difficult to move from one career to another when we want to change, or change our streams, or change our line of work. So just before this, I just want to share a very small my own experience about how careers. uh, so I worked for almost 21 years now. I started with engineering. Why? Because I did it in computers, for the simple reason engineering is a safe profession to get into. Computers, why? Because computers is something that was doing well that time, and it's still doing well today, and it continues to grow well. But then later it was specialized streams who used to work in computers. Now I can see people coming from commerce who do courses in computers and also do technology. So we started seeing a lot of competition, where someone who does not come from an engineering background, or someone who does not come from a technology specialized background, can still do what computers people can do. So the competition increased, and it is increasing, and now there are so many streams have come up. So I moved from technology to management, where I worked with Lehman Brothers, Nomura Services, JP Morgan Chase, where I felt that management was something that I realized that I was good at. But apart from management, I was into middle management. I realized I was good at training, and I started training people. And today, if you ask me, plus 20, 21 years of my corporate, I had I'm the director in the company at Vyosa. I had the learning division of the company, wherein my complete focus is on trainings. So it took me 15 years, and I'm very, very passionate about trainings today. Okay, I can do this calls. I take sessions in the college when I go to institutions, name the institutions we have present. Thankfully, we have presence there, and thankfully for the team that we work with, we're able to expand and we're able to grow. So every institution, every college, every school that I go to, I can take sessions for like for the whole day, and I've done that because I'm very passionate about it. But it took me 15 years to realize my passion. So, and I'm sure parents here and people around you have seen people take a while. So to cut the story short, how do we simplify this process? How do we reduce the effort for individuals to go through the struggle and find out their careers? And why not at the school level? So what we do, we have artificial intelligence as a technology that we have built. It's an in-house built technology which has a data set of 10 years. People who understand technology, I'm just talking a few technical jargons here, they may understand this. Artificial intelligence requires the system, that the algorithm, the engine to be smart enough to give you the right results. For that, it requires the right amount of data to be fed into the system, so that when you put that data, it uses that data and learns on its own. So artificial intelligence is self-learning, but you have to provide it the right amount of data. So we have 10 years ka data set that we have done research with, and that data set is put in the system so that we have a lot of accuracy today. So that is the reason it is AI powered, and we are able to achieve accuracy which goes to more than 90% today. Okay. So, and what are we including in this? We call it the assessment. It's a 5-dimensional career planning and professional roadmap. It's a psychometry that we do. I'm sure a lot of you or some of you may have heard the term psychometry. You will say, "Yeah, I know it is aptitude test. I have done this, I've checked this." I'm sure you must have done few things which are available online today. But then most of the things that are available online and which are free, you cannot even uh, go by the results, because you don't even know what is the authenticity of such tests which are available. Okay, and there are numbers of them that are there available in the market today, right? That means we need something which is more reliable, because it is about careers. It is not just about finding someone's zodiac sign or some matches. It is something about professional careers. So we have, that is the reason a lot of research has gone into what we've developed today, and which is being successfully implemented across schools today. So 5-dimensional psychometry, as I said, helps you understand a couple of things. Most importantly, the strengths and abilities of a child. I'll just explain you in very, very small brief so that you understand what these dimensions are. Uh, and then a lot of details of this will be also shared with you further as you go along the process of this assessment. The first thing that we are able to analyze of the student is a personality analysis. When we say personality, it talks about being an introvert, an extrovert, and there are global standards that we are using today which enable us to use and give you the right results, because these global standards have been used for the last 30-40 years. So the global standard, just to name a few, we have MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicator, that we have been using in the personality analysis. There is a RIASAC model which helps you to understand career interests. Then there is a work theory, then there is Goldman's theory, then there are big five theories, multiple intelligence. So there are multiple global standards that we are using to analyze and help you give the right data. So this analysis is completely focused towards the careers. So when I say personality analysis, you will say, what is the idea of understanding a personality? Because if the personality is understood well, and if you have a better understanding of the personality of a student, you can map it to the most suitable careers. When I say most suitable careers, means what will what suits them, means what will they enjoy doing, what will they be good at. Example, if a student who is an introvert lands into a job of marketing or sales, it will be a challenge, because introvert, the personality is of not communicating so much. They are most close people where they don't want to communicate so much with people. But sales, as a to be specific, requires you to communicate on a daily basis, so maybe a challenge for a student. So the personality does not suit. So every job role, every career cluster has a different, or a job family that we call it, also has a personality type which matches. So it can be industry, it can be jobs, it can be the kind of roles. Okay, so personality analysis one, we understand students' interests. So there are interests that are globally recognized. We find out what are these. It is usually a combination where I'll also take you through the a sample report in between this discussion so that you get an idea of what the reports are all about, how these reports are generated, what kind of data it is showing, what kind of, so these interests are available. We analyze that. We help students to understand their career motivators. Motivators means value systems. Value systems are those which we hold very close to when we want to. It is about, can be about ethics, it can be about what comfort that we have. So there are only 7 motivators that an individual can have. I'll share the report on the screen in a few minutes for you to see what motivators I'm talking about. There's also something called as learning style. Every student has a learning style which is different from each other. I'll explain you what is the learning style. Then skill and abilities. Skill and abilities is about numerical abilities, logical abilities, their decision making power, their visualizations. There are 8 to 12 intelligence, we call it multiple intelligence that we call it, are there. Only a set of them are with one student. So we expect, as parents expect our children to be, example, to be good at mathematics, but not everyone is good at mathematics because that may not be their skill and ability. They may be good at logic, they may be good at visualization, they may be good at communication. That is also a skill. So we, the default way of looking at it has to change because not everyone will have all the skills, or everyone will not have all the abilities. But the scoring system sadly works on that, used to work on that. Now it is, thankfully it is changed and changing more, wherein we are moving away from that concept of looking at marks. Okay. Okay, so what is the benefit of this analysis? For 8 to 10 standard students, there's a detailed 23-page report that comes out. So I'll just give you an idea about the process that we follow in the schools when we're working with them. So we have a team, we set up tabs, we have our own tabs, we have the computer labs, we use them. There's an online psychometry that the students take, which takes around 45 minutes to an hour to finish in one sitting. There is an orientation that happens for the students. Parents are not required here, only the students are there. We do it in the school. Once we do that in the school, the complete setup, the complete assessment is done. It's an MCQ based assessment for the students who are here, and where situational questions are asked, you will not even realize what question will give you what answer in the report. So the chances of manipulating the report is very very low, because you, unless you've decided that I want to give wrong answers, that's a different question. But if you genuinely want to understand your strengths, your abilities, your personality, and what suitable careers are there for you, and I'm sure the serious students and the parents who want their students child to really get more clarity around this will do take it very genuinely. We are able to map all these questions, all these MCQs when they take it, and we generate a report out of it. And this 23 plus pager report gives a detailed analysis of what I've just shared. And apart from that, it also gives you more details. I will share the report so for us to understand it better. Okay. 11 to 12 standard, definitely it's a report which has, which gives you more stream selections for 11 12 standard and for post 12 standard and graduation. Okay. So a lot of people talk about aptitude tests, that they think that they have taken aptitude test and they feel it is same as a career assessment or a psychometry, whereas it is not. Aptitude is a very small subset of a career assessment, and what we do a psychometry which enables 5 dimensions of assessment, and aptitude just talks about a couple of skills which are already included. So if aptitude you've taken, aptitudes will only give you one part of it, but a career assessment and a psychometry gives you much more detailed dimensions. Okay, so I'll talk about the report. I'll show you the report. I'll just share the report on the screen so that we know what is the report all about. Here on the screen, you can see this is a sample report of, it's an actual report of a student. Actually, I'm using it as a sample here for us to understand. Once the assessment is done, the report is generated, and this report, it's how it comes out. There is the first thing that is called as the profile. Profile is something that a student just selects an option, what stage of planning they are. Okay, so if you're unaware, confused, diffused, methodical, optimized, it gives you details around that. Okay, the second, or I would say, profile is just a pre assessment page that you see. Actually, the first page starts from career personality. This career personality is explained, and as I told you, it is, we've referenced MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicators, where it talks about if the child is an introvert, an extrovert, sensing, intuitive, thinking, feeling, judging, perceiving. You will say, what are these options? So there are two ways to understand this. One, the report itself is self-explanatory. So if you see here, whatever is on the higher side on the scale, it is explained. So if you don't know what is an extrovert, it explains what is an extrovert. If you think if you think if the scale is on sensing, it will explain your sensing. If you are a thinking person, it explains what is thinking. So it explains everything. Alternately, as a process, when we conduct these assessments, we have counseling sessions. These counseling sessions are very detailed, where counselors who are certified, they sit one on one with the students and the parent in the school. We create a roster as a process, and this report that I'm explaining, I'm giving you an idea about, is explained in detail. Okay, when it is explained in detail, every aspect of the report is explained properly. Strengths of the child, strengths of the child are is understood. Okay, the next part is the career interests. What is an interest? As I told you, there are only 6 interests which are there. Again, what are these options, what does it mean, is again explained in the with the counselors. Our counselors will explain to you. Realistic, what is realistic? Realistic means people who work with physical objects, not so computers is a non-physical object. Like logistics, machinery, mechanics, or people who want mechanical engineering are realistic people. Investigative means people who are into research. People who do research are investigative. People from law, people from research, marketing research, are all investigative. Conventional means people who do tried and tested work, that is can be banking systems. Social means people who are into teaching, training, education. Enterprising are more corporate. Artistic means people who are creative. So it is again explained to you, whatever your child is good at, or whatever, as a student, if you're on the call, whatever you're good at will be explained to you. Again, it is there in the report for you to understand and know yourself better. Career motivators. Career motivators, there are only 7 career motivators. Structured work environment means uh, like a government job, or places where everything is very structured. Independence means people who are entrepreneurs. Continuous learning, people who are into uh, technology, who have to learn things every now and then. They have to keep themselves updated. High paced is more of sales environment, where people are working for targets. Adventure means sports and people who are risk takers. Creativity means against artistic, and social service means people who, they said, defense, education. So the kind of motivation. So everyone has a different motivation. Okay. Again, it is explained in detail. Okay. Learning styles. Learning styles is something that we usually work with read and write. Auditory means by listening. Visual means people who learn by seeing visual. Kinesthetic means people who learn by doing things on their own. So the combine it can be one, it can be a combination. Okay, it is again explained. Skills and abilities, as I said, numerical abilities, numbers. Logical abilities is about the logic. This is used in technology a lot. Verbal is communication. Organizing, careers like logistics requires a lot of organizing. Visualization, people who are into the field of architecture, people who design, they have to be very good at visualizations. Leadership, decision making, people who get into manager roles are good at decision making and leadership. Social, cooperative, people who work with others, who like to work with others. Mechanical is people who work with machinery. So it explains, this is the analysis part of it. In addition to that, the report gives you a mapping to very important aspects. The first is career clusters. Career clusters talks about what are the industries that they're suitable for. Okay, so it gives a combination. Usually the top 2 to 3 is the combination. It is all explained. Okay. Logistics and transportation. So it is explained. So what are the top 1, 2, 3 are explained. The career clusters are the ones which are explained. Okay. The most now one of the most or the important things that a student would want to know is about subject selections, because it becomes a decision making criteria for students in this in the 8 to 10 standard. So subjects, students, if they are good at science, maths, it will show up in the report. So this major confusion of should I take science or commerce, all that decision making goes away when you know that it will show you what are the top choices, major subjects, minor subjects. It gives you, and this data is accurate. So please, we can go with the data that is shown in the report. We have enough results to verify that it is accurate. Science, bio, if you see, top 4 choices are given to you with the percentage of what, how much it aligns. Okay, now we go ahead to the point of career paths. This is somewhere we're talking about after graduation, post graduation, when the students are completing the graduation, what kind of graduation they should take. So it talks about graduations, it talks about careers, if you see the industries and the actual job roles. We're talking about job roles here. The job roles are, these are the jobs that the students can take up, and these are the careers that are the most suitable. If you see, to understand this section, you'll understand there are 4 parts to this. One is the first is the career path. It talks about the industry. Second is, it talks about psychometry, the personality that we spoke about. Third is the skill and abilities, the skill and abilities of the student. And the fourth, if you see the comment section, is about, is it, how much does it match? Based on that, it gives you recommendation. If the analysis of psychometry and the skills matches on the higher side, it tells you it's a top choice. There are multiple of them, it tells you it's a top choice. So multiple careers, a lot of them are shown as top choice, a lot of them will be shown as good choices. If you see, these career options sometimes goes to 40, more than 40, where you have a lot of top choices, good choices, It tells you what are the most suitable. This is where the gaps are identified. The students are able to understand the gaps because we do not highlight the weakness of the student. We tell the gaps means the skill and abilities. The skill and abilities, if you see, the second one is showing average, means the skills do not match 100%. It is still average. This is where you find out the gaps. So skill and ability is the section which tells you, you can go to that section and understand that what skill is low for a particular career. This is very important when you have already chosen careers and you want to stick to, or you want to go with those careers only. And if those careers do not come on the top choices in the report, that means there is a skill which is missing, which is not aligned, or which is have to be worked on. This again will be explained to you with the report in the counseling sessions that we do. But for your own understanding of the report, this will really help the parents and the students both. So multiple options are given to you so that you're able to understand, explore, and take the proper decisions. At the end, there is a summary of the report. There is summary of the report which tells you what the report is all about and how it can use it. So one more thing, apart from the assessment that we do and the counseling that happens, there is an access to the dashboard that is given. There is a dashboard. The details of the dashboard will be shared, are shared during the counseling sessions. This dashboard has access to more than 1 lakh colleges where you are thinking of admissions in India, 1 lakh plus colleges abroad. You want to explore particular careers, education, everything can be researched on the dashboard so that you can pick up the chosen careers that you have, and I can find out how the career paths lead to them. So the dashboard, it's a lifetime access that we give to the students so that they can plan it today, after 2 years, after graduation, after post graduation. So it is a long term planning that we do. Okay. So this is what summarizes the assessment, and this is how the process works in the schools. We do this definitely for with the schools that we're tying up. We do it in the premises in the school for students who have passed or they're at higher education. So a lot of parents also want to have student their child they have already chosen or who are already out of school. They can also do it online. So, but since we are doing it in the school, it can be done directly in the school, but it is all done through the website. Okay, so I think this is what summarizes the whole process of assessment and career guidance. Just one more thing about the counselors that we work with. All these counselors are professionals who are certified, who have enough and more knowledge about careers, enough and more understanding about career planning. They work in and out with students, and these counselors who are certified, they talk to you, give you answers of questions, and more importantly, the report of the assessment is the idea of the report of the assessment is to make you enable you to take your own decisions rather than depending on something or an expert outside. Because although our counselors are experts and they'll give you advice on how to take decisions, they'll give you options but at the same time, we want you to be enabled and do not depend for your child's career planning on experts who may or may not be biased. But I'm not saying we try to have a very unbiased opinion because there is a report in front, it is explained. But every professional from a different field will have a bias towards the careers that they work with. Okay, so this is how the whole process of career planning and career guidance works, and we have been successfully conducting uh, these assessments, career guidance in schools across cities, Mumbai, Pune, Nasik, and it is really helping students everywhere to plan their careers. We also have taken feedback of students who have already chosen careers through our assessment module, career guidance module, and they have come back to us after a year and two, telling us the choices that they made were the right choices. It was a good option. Some of the students had decided on a particular stream, but then they, based on the report, they opted for those which are suggested, and it really help them to pursue the right careers and their passions. I think uh, this is where I would want people who are there on the YouTube live today to ask questions. I'll keep the option open for questions. How do you ask questions? Since it's YouTube live, we cannot have an interactive session here. But yes, when you are on YouTube, there is a chat section where you can actually post your chats. And if there are chats coming in, I'll leave it open for the next 5 minutes, where whatever chats are coming in, I will be definitely answering it, all of them. So any questions, any queries around the same, please feel free to put it on the chat, and I'll be able to uh, give you answers in this call itself, in this YouTube live itself. I know I have, please, anything, any communication that you want to do, please, you can just post it on the chat. I can see it live here, and we can definitely, I can definitely answer your questions here. So by the time the chat is open, I just also want to tell you how the career planning as a, okay, yes, sir. So, Mariam Kapuswala, yes, yes, ma'am. You can ask me questions here. You can just shoot your questions here. I'll be able to help you with the answers. Okay. Please share your question. I'll be able to answer. And please ask questions for the simple reason your questions may really help a lot of people who are there on the call who may have a similar question as you have. So whoever is trying to ask questions, please go ahead and ask. Yes, Mariam, Kapuswala, please ask the question that you have. I'll be able to answer your question. It may help a lot of people who are there on the call today, on the YouTube live today. Okay. Does learning coding require mathematics? Does learning coding require mathematics? Short answer is no. What does it require? It requires logic. So logic, if you see the skill and ability section, the numerical abilities is one skill, logical abilities is another skill. So it is a skill set. It is a skill set. So there are different skill sets. But yes, there is a combination of mathematics required based on the kind of job that you do. So some of the technology people also require mathematics, but not all of them. So where there is data, where there are numbers, there may be mathematics, but may not be everywhere. So okay, we have to take maths and science in 9th, 10th standard if you want to go in coding. So yes, Mariam. So it is how. So I'll tell you something. So that when you're selecting subjects in 8, 9 standard, is for the schools to help you categorize how you are, given the importance to major and minor subjects. But when you go post 10th standard, the logic is about taking science, and then you can pursue. So if you ask me, when you take an assessment, you'll be able to understand that you may take subjects in 8, 9, 10 standard for you to categorize yourself in the school, but post 10 standard it is science and coding again. Nowadays, as I said, NEP, with NEP you just don't need to do science. You can also move from commerce, you can do courses. So what also, there are a lot of new age careers where you don't have to also do engineering. Maybe sometimes if you're keen on doing engineering with computers, that may be a good option. But then there are also non-engineering options where you can actually take up coding. Okay, so we have to take, okay, yeah, I get it. So I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered your question. Anyone else? Thank you, Mariam, for asking this question. It is, I'm sure a lot of students, your friends, parents here have similar questions, and you are, thank you for asking. They may be able to get answers from your questions. Anyone else, please? We have still for few minutes. We are open for few minutes before we close the YouTube live for us to ask questions. We'll wait for a few more minutes before we close this YouTube live. You're welcome, Mariam. You're welcome. Any more questions? Okay, you just open for the next few minutes. Any more questions, please? Yes, Jia, please ask your questions. Yes, you can start planning. So what is required for NDA, Jia? You will be able to understand. So the dashboard that I spoke about, once you take the assessment, if NDA is something that comes in your career paths, there is a roadmap also which tells you how do you pursue it. So the dashboard will give you details about how to pursue, what is required, how to prepare. All that will be there in the dashboard. Yes, Mariam, you had one more question. You can ask. Yes, Mariam. Mariam, you had a doubt you wanted to ask. Please go ahead. Okay. For UPSC, Jia, if so, all the assessment that we will be doing will give you all kind of careers. So if there are government jobs, civil services, if it is suitable for you, it will come out in the report. And if that career is there, a roadmap is also given to you. The dashboard will help you understand and explore the roadmap. Vijeta Patel, I hope I answered your question, Jia. Okay. So Vijeta Patel, you said if the student is not interested in mathematics, fine. So not every student will have mathematics as a strong subject. So what is based on their skill sets and abilities, the stronger subjects will be shown in the report, and those subject recommendations will come out in the report as I showed you. It will come out in the report. Okay, so Nigar Bhaskar, does the dashboard include exams which to take? Yes. Nigar, yes, to answer your question, the dashboard gives you a complete roadmap, what kind of exams, it gives you what kind of institutions, what kind of universities those courses are available. Also, fee structure is given, which is latest that we have extracted. It's there available. Okay. So Mariam's again a question. Post 10 standard, would learn coding by applying in commerce? Yes. As I said, there is an option to move between commerce and science, and there are specializations where coding also can be taken up. So there is no restriction nowadays, like earlier, where you could only just take engineering to pursue coding and technology. Now coding and technology can be pursued from different streams, and specializations can be completed, and the graduation and the career can be still done. Okay, you're welcome, Jia. You're welcome, Nigar. Any more questions? Because our YouTube live will uh, will go off in a few seconds. Any more questions? Any more questions? You're welcome, Mariam. If there are no more questions, we'll be closing the YouTube live. Definitely, students and parents who have joined, who have more questions, you can contact the school who has arranged your school, Bishop. Definitely, you can ask them. We can give you more details. So the YouTube live will be, the streaming will be end now. And thank you for being there on the call and for the YouTube live. Thank you, everyone.